Could it be so? Fulci's final feature film, Door to Silence, is a vivid, highly atmospheric cinematic masterpiece. What if you were driving home, but the traditional roads are all closed, sending you going around and around until the streets you travel seem less like familiar landmarks in an American landscape, and more like a barren, dreamlike series of sparsely populated way stations before the entrance to the limbo-esque afterlife? In the hands of any lesser director, Door to Silence would be handled with cynicism or arrogant amateurism. In the hands of Fulci, it becomes a testament to his own cinematic verisimilitude and his ability to make the most of a story despite a fairly limited budget to compose it all together with. Fulci actually adapted this feature from a short story he himself had written, and so we have an instance of the man knowing exactly how a narrative ought to look and realizing it with a lucid series of fluid, powerful, hypnotizing, and engrossing images. All of the traditional tools of film direction, shot composition, editing are employed to extraordinary effect. A reel of stellar narrative filmmaking techniques. One really has to see Door to Silence to truly believe it. On paper, perhaps the premise is predictable, but also consider how much one might want to feel engrossed by a story, relatable, existential, and thoroughly modern, still potentially a phenomenon lost in the car, trapped by roads, unable to find one's way back home, which could make for a gripping horror/thriller to the point of short film predictability, potentially, and yet here it works, certainly if you let it work. Strangely, if anything is proof of Fulci's talent as a director, it is the elevation of lower budgeted material such as this into evidence of cinematic craftsmanship, albeit from his own short story, but if that is what it takes for a filmmaker to hone in on the medium itself and realize such assertive artistry, then well, so be it. It is too easy to imagine Door to Silence's premise as a banal short film, as I previously inferred, that we neglect that maybe such a universal, relatable premise has a lot of thrilling, engrossing potential. It does. It took a visionary like Fulci to write and direct it, and it belongs with other final feature masterpieces such as Dwan's Most Dangerous Man Alive, Ford's Seven Women, Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, and Kurosawa's Madadayo. It may as well. Fulci was clearly an able artist, and to have a final feature which reinforces so wantonly the gifts of the filmmaker, compared with so many of the tired, strained final features of several great directors, Fulci was someone who had it, as they say, right up until the end, or I would stridently argue for anyway. Door to Silence recommended to anyone interested, and quite thoroughly if you haven't been spoiled by my hyping this film up, this will be an incredibly compelling feature film journey here. And so that concludes the Lucio Fulci retrospective of sorts. Over the next however many days, we'll be finishing off the filmography of another highly capable horror director, one who we've discussed a number of works of already, and whilst he's not an obscure figure really, I would be surprised if anyone can actually guess who it might be. So if you're interested, tune in next time to find out whose work we'll be occupying these days until we clear out their fascinating oeuvre. Until then, watch some Lucio Fulci and then get back to me. Tell me what you think, let me know if I'm wrong, and keep striving for each year to be the new best one of your life. That might be nice.